Hi guys, and welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. If you're new here, I'm Debbie Strait, and I am the owner and artist here at Debbie's Rusty Brush, and I like to do anything that I can put paint on. Today what we're doing though is a little 6x6 by 1/2 inch painting, and we're going to do a buck. This is what we're doing, and we will, as normal, speed it up and do a voiceover tutorial so that you guys can see what goes on and how I do it without having to sit through the entire process of me painting. And then if you want to paint it later, you can pause as you need to. So this will allow you to watch it and see if it's even something that you're interested in trying. All right, so without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so as you can see, I took the time to draw my buck onto my little canvas, and I'm just going to add some water, and I'm using DIY clay-based paint, and I want it to kind of have this runny watercolor effect here in the background. This is going to cover up a little bit of what we drew on, but we'll still have an idea of where things belong. And so I'm just putting it on, and this is Bohemian Blue. And I'm just dabbing it on and adding water so that we get this watercolor effect and it kind of runs. Okay, and then because I want a little bit of a variation in the color, I'm going in with some Lucky Lavender, which is a Dixie Bell mineral chalk paint. And then we're just going to dab that off a little bit to give some texture. And I don't care for the area where a bunch of it came off on the upper right. And so I'm just going to dab some more in there. Okay, so now that we have our background done, we're just going to start in on the antlers of our deer. On this side, I can see what I've drawn. On the other side, I kind of have to make it up a little bit as I go. Now I am using a very small brush to do this, and I am also using DIY paint. It's a clay-based paint and works well with the water. And with this, it is, I believe, prairie gray that I'm using, but of course you can always use whatever colors that you want. And you can do this with acrylic, but you just need to be careful of using so much water with the acrylic on that background. You'll want to use a acrylic medium, flow medium, to get that look. And so I'm just going to go in here with some darker colors and some lighter colors. We're going to just play with the antlers a little bit, and then we'll go back to them again later. Now, as you can tell, I did not paint the entire background. Much of this canvas is just gessoed, the way it came gessoed. And so I did leave it, but when we seal it, that will make sure that all of it is sealed well together. And now I'm just going to go through and outline my deer. And I'm trying to remember what color I'm using on this. And I believe that it is Summer Crush, which is an orange color. It's kind of an orangey brown. And I want to darken up right where those antlers meet the head of our buck. And then I just want to take some black and put in a bit of a nose here. We can refine it and change it later, but we just want to get the basic shapes in at this point. And again, the same with the eyes, I guess I should say. And so this just helps us have a better knowledge of where our bases are. Now I'm going in with some faded burlap into the antlers, and on the tip of that one I am going in with some white swan. mixed with the faded burlap because I needed it to be just a little bit lighter. And I've picked the side that my light is coming from, and I am going in and putting the light in where it would naturally shine, and then the other side of those antlers will be a bit darker. And as you can see here, we are putting in the darker side now, and just defining our antlers a little bit more. Now again, once you have defined your light source, where it's going to come from, you just want the off side to be darker, the side that is catching the light to be lighter, and you can have a mid-tone in there as well. It doesn't matter which side you decide that your light source is coming from, you just shade accordingly. So now antlers are not one of the easiest things for me to do. I'm still working on trying to get them to flow naturally. They just don't come naturally to me. Now I am going in through the body here, and I am using, I believe that I'm using Sandy Blonde in this area, and then we'll darken it up. And as you can tell, I am going around the side and the bottom of the canvas just to carry this along in case somebody wants to hang this on a wall. I envision these as shelf setters. They work really well for that. They're a 6x6 by 1/2 inch, so they stand on their own. But just in case somebody wants to hang it on a wall, unframed, it will be fully finished out. Now I'm going in with some faded burlap to try to get kind of the bottom lip put in here and get some definition going on the rest of the face. I'm going in here with some more of the Sandy Blonde to bring that up into the face and ears of our buck. And honestly, with this, just if you need to look at a picture and see where the lines would be, where the shadows and the muscular areas are. This honestly is a very quick painting. So we're just getting these areas in there where you understand where they are, but I'm not really defining any of these areas. We're just going in with some lights and some darks and getting the basic shape and where the lights and darks would be on this buck. All right, so now I'm adding in some more of this Summer Crush, the orange color. I want a combination of the orange and the sandy blonde. It's just more of a natural color, and I want some variations in the fur here so that we have both of those colorings going on. Now again, you can use any colors that you want. I wanted this buck to be more natural colored. I do a lot of my paintings, even though it will look like the animal, it will be much more impressionistic in the fact that I might use blues and purples or greens and purples in my shading and my coloring of the animal itself. And with this, because of the way I did the background, I wanted the more natural colors, but I am not going in and making him realistic at all. He's still kind of free form, and so he, you can do him the way that you want to do him. With me, I just want him to look like a buck, but he doesn't have to be fully detailed. So we're just going to do a little bit more work with his nose and around his mouth area here. I like to put in either a little bit of light purple or light blue. Normally I go with a blue through his nose just to give it that little bit of a wet look. In with the black. The blue and the black play off really well together. Now I am going in with some of that lavender into his nostril and then mixing that with the black so that it is lighter than the base part of the nose, but it is not really standing out. Now again, when you are doing this, do what feels right to you while you're doing it. You can certainly print off a picture or look at a picture on another device while you are painting. I find that it's easier for me to look at a picture of a deer when I am painting. Normally when I do these videos, I'm not doing that, and that's why I draw them. Because I'm using my device to film with. So once I have my drawing on there, I'm just kind of doing the rest by memory. And so that is why I like impressionistic, because my memory isn't always exactly what the picture was. And that is what I like about art. You know, you can do it the way that you want it done, what you see in your mind's eye. And people will either like it or they won't. But as long as I like it, that's what counts for me. And there's a piece of art out there for everyone. So it's just a matter of having enough people see what you've created. And now I'm just playing back and forth with some lights and darks in the face to get a little bit more definition and character into his face. I'm going in with a little bit more dark into his eyes and a little bit of the lighter color coming underneath his eye. Just getting that framed out a little bit better. So it's just a matter of playing back and forth. Remember guys, this is paint. So you can scrape it off, you can paint over it once it dries, you can blend the paint on the canvas as you go. Here I'm adding a little bit of brown into his eye. You won't be able to see it really close in the video, but I wanted a little bit of color in there. So it's got the black, the brown, a little bit of twinkle dots with the white. And I think I put a little bit of a blue in there to give a reflection in his eye. And now I'm just working down around his nose and his mouth. And I wanted that to be just a little bit darker in some areas. Right there under his chin, I want it to be lighter where his bottom lip is, but I wanted that to be more defined. And so you just play until you get what you want. Now I want a little bit darker right through here on his chest, moving over into the one shoulder. And then here I'm going a little bit darker because that is where his leg would meet. Now, as you notice, I am spritzing it. Because with chalk paint it will dry lighter, and I want to make sure the values are what I want them to be when it is sealed. It will have more of a wet look. It'll be someplace in between, but I'll get a good idea as I'm spritzing. Now I'm going through and going a bit lighter up here on his back and coming down because that is the direction that our light source is, and so it's going to hit him right there across the back. And then I'm just going to go in here and do a little bit more work with his antlers and make sure that they've got the little spots and the little changes that the antlers will have in the variation of color. So you can add as much or as little detail as you would like on your painting. Like I said, I did not go through. This does not have individual hairs. This is not meant to be realism. It's meant to look like a buck and to have the impression of where lights and darks are going to come in. And that's where we're going to leave it for today. Okay, so just a few little touch-ups, and then I will, off camera, once this fully dries, I will take Krylon clear spray. I like the matte finish, and I will do 2 to 3 coats of the sealer on this, and that will give it a good sealing and protecting for years to come.
Okay guys, that is our little painting for today. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel, sharing with your friends. If you think that they would like my content, hit the little bell notification so that you always get notified whenever I upload a video. Also, if you could give me a thumbs up, give a comment, all of that helps the YouTube algorithms, and I greatly appreciate it. When I do my paintings, normally I just decide what I'm going to do. But if you ask me to try something, I will give it a try. I am not an ultra realistic or realistic artist. I like abstract and impressionistic, so that's what I do most of the time. But I will give it a try. I am self-taught, and so there are a lot of things that I've never tried before. And I will try it, I will film it, I will post it, no matter whether it's a fail and you get to laugh at me or whether I succeed with it. And you can judge and tell me whether you think I did okay or whether you think it was a colossal disaster. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me this week, and we will see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.